One, two, three. 1, 2, 3.
2, Benjamin Collins. Number 10, Dominic Folia. Number 5, Adrian Federhajic. Number 7, Leo Maza. Number 12, Dion Nicolaides. Number 21, Nicholas Olsen. Number 17, Joshua Pinn. Number 1, Yaron Souza. Number 16, Isaiah Yokohawa. And number 9, Adrian Zara and captain. Substitutes, Eon Ashan, number 8.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, live in this round 7 of Doherty Cup action in Football Victoria, the final qualification game for the Australia Cup in Victoria. My name is Bryce Ruthven, taking you through this massive clash tonight here at the Heath. And apologies for delayed in commentary. We have a speaker literally 30 centimetres from my head, so no point competing with the speaker, and I'll let the groundsman, the guy on the mic at the ground, call out the Bentleigh home side.
Benjamin Bowler. Number 11, Christian Cavallo. Number 8, Jay Davies. Number 7, Kieran Dover. Number 22, James Doyle. Number 18, Scott Lockhead. And number 10, Thomas Strickland. Number 1, Andrew Withers. And captain, Scott Hillier, number 4. Substitutes.
As play gets underway here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, and the guy on the loudspeaker behind me finds the substitutes. If you can't find them soon, I'll read them out for you for the Bentleigh Greens. We see Kieran Dover breaking down this near touchline, going up against the Heidelberg captain Adrian Zara, who slips. Dover delivers the ball. It's a good ball in, a good attacking start here for the Greens. And of course, these two sides, very familiar to each other over the last decade. They don't actually compete against each other. In 2024, the Bentleigh Greens getting relegated to VPL 1 in Victoria at the back end of last year, and Heidelberg United remaining in the top flight of Victorian football. So a rare meeting between the two sides, and the only meeting that will happen in 2024, and it comes at the home of the Bentleigh Greens. When the balls were plucked out of the bowl at Football Victoria HQ a couple of weeks ago to determine the final qualification matches for the Australia Cup pathway in Victoria, fans of the round ball game across Melbourne were hoping for the ultimate pairing that could produce a tale worthy of a J.K. Rowling novel. And in a sense, tonight, on this Football Victoria live stream, we head back to the future in many ways with a mouth-watering Doherty Cup Round 7 tie live from Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, the scene of many famous nights in Victorian football over the past decade, and also in Australian football over the years. And tonight has all the ingredients needed for the perfect midweek treat. We have a match full of storylines everywhere you turn, both on and off the pitch. Heidelberg United coach John Anastasiadis makes an eagerly anticipated return to Kingston Heath for the first time in 5 years. While in the home dugout, Bentleigh Greens coach George Katsakis will be as animated as ever, barking out instructions for the first time against the club he took charge of for a record 380 occasions across all competitions. the extra bit of spice to this contest. A spot on the line this evening on the national stage in a matter of weeks. The round of 32 of the 2024 Australia Cup. The two sides, the Bentleigh Greens and Heidelberg United, arguably Victoria's and some of the country's two most successful non-A-League clubs over the history of the competition, have a chance to book their spot amongst 16 other participants already in the pot in a couple of weeks' time. This round 7 fixture of the Doherty Cup is sure to be a blockbuster affair. We've kicked off and we are 2 minutes away, and it's going to be a big one. My name is Bryce Ruth and I will be taking you through the 90 plus potential stoppage time we have, and even penalties. Who knows how far we'll go tonight in this round 7 Doherty Cup clash. But make sure you do stay tuned throughout the whole course of the evening on this Victorian football live stream on YouTube and of course on Facebook as well. You do not want to miss a second of the action here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, and it has been a hotly contested couple of weeks. You go out to any of the NPL grounds and you hear the talk of this game, more so for the battle of the two coaches coming up against their former sides that they did oh so well with over the last couple of years, and there's no doubt about it. Australia Cup / FFA Cup / Doherty Cup definitely runs through the veins of both George Katsakis and John Anastasiadis, who has come back, of course, from Western United to take the reins this year at Heidelberg United. George Katsakis coming in after a couple of rounds to Kingston Heath to take over a struggling Bentleigh Greens that must have been set after a bit of a poor start. They were expecting big things here at the Heath this year, and things have turned since Katsakis has come in, and we'll see Nick Olsen try and get past his defender, and Christian Cavallo does well. There's a lot of talent on the park tonight, even for a side in the second tier of Victorian football. A lot of players in a green top tonight that have played top flight football here in Victoria in many matches, so a lot of players also have played on a national stage too, and even amongst the A-League. So we've got one hell of a contest here tonight. You can throw out the form guides of the NPL and VPL1, because over cup football anything can happen, as we see an early slip. And what must be said is a bit of a worn pitch at Kingston Heath. It's still in great condition. One of the best pitches in Victorian football. But we have had a bit of rain the last couple of days. We see an early strike from the Heidelberg captain, Adrian Zara, held well by Andrew Withers in goals. The former Port Melbourne goalkeeper, a number of years, made the move down to Melbourne South East into the VPL1. Adds a lot of experience in between the sticks for the Greens. Nick Olsen, former A-League player with the Western Sydney Wanderers, plied his trade in the NPL New South Wales for a number of years and decided to make the change down south. Did a good start to his NPL season and life in Melbourne. Don't forget, if you are watching through one of our social media platforms tonight, you can get involved in the conversation. I am flying solo, so I'm happy to have your company with me across the course of this Tuesday evening. It's a very chilly 12 degrees in Moorabbin. The wind coming straight off the airport. Stopping in for a quick sale at DFO. A couple of hot donuts and grabbed a souvlaki in the clubhouse here, and I can tell you what, it might not look like too much of a crowd here, but underneath me in the commentary position and inside the clubhouse, it is packed to the rafters, and the smell of a mixed souvlaki comes billowing out of the clubhouse too. The ultimate tease if you're a commentator. Andrew Withers goes long. And Federhagic in at the centre-back position, his normal spot for the Burgers. As we see Kieran Dover applying some pressure to Adrian Zara, who's forced to go all the way back to Yaron Souza. And he tries to clear the lines and can only put it out for an early throw. Cavallo well spotted at the corner flag. And Lars Anton Canandar, he's got a big job on his shoulders tonight. The leading marksman for the Greens. Also had Kieran Dover in some good goal scoring form across the VPL1 and also the Australia Cup too, and the Doherty Cup qualification. Ball comes in. It's driven out to the greens. I'll get a strike away early to the far post. Come off the chest of Federhagic, and a chance to drive forward here for the Burgers. And it's a good one-on-one run. It's a cut across, looking for Olsen. And unfortunately, Leo Massis couldn't find his intended target. And the crowd still trickling in here at Kingston Heath. The early kickoff on a school night. Good to see plenty of kids out here supporting their respective clubs. As the ball comes long, and Scott Hillier, the Bentleigh Greens captain, is forced to go back to Andrew Withers. Comes short to James Doyle. He finds Cavallo. He goes long, looking for Dover. Adrian Zara playing in a right back position this evening. Can only get as far as Jay Davies. Hillier again looking to find Dover, and the offside flag does go up in front of the away bench. And as the rain starts to trickle down here at Kingston Heath, we'll take a look at the cup run so far of both sides, starting with Heidelberg United. In round 4, they came up against Sunbury United at the Olympic Village, and it was a bit of an easy one for the Burgers, an 8-0 win on that evening. Round 5, they faced Brunswick Juventus, again at the Olympic Village, had a 4-2 win. And in round 6, they played fellow NPL Victoria side Altona Magic at Paisley Park and got a comfortable 4-0 win to book their spot in this round 7 clash. For the home side, the Bentleigh Greens, in round 4, they had to travel to Werribee City. As you see, a chance going for the Burgers. Nothing given by our referee this evening. And as I was saying, Bentleigh Greens travelled to Werribee City, and Galvin Park hosted their round 4 clash where they won 5-1 against fellow VPL 1 side. In round 5, the Greens travelled to Upfield. Upfield came to the Heath, right where we are tonight, resulted in a 4-0 win to the home side. And in round 6, Bentleigh travelled to Cross Keys Reserve and took on Essendon Royals and came back to the southeast with a 3-1 win to book their spot in this round 7 clash. As we see Nick Olsen driving forward for the Burgers. He's got Leo on this right-hand side and a good intercept by Christian Cavallo. He's had some injuries, Cavallo, in the last couple of years, and has found himself back into a regular starting spot for the Greens. Good to see him back on the football field. Of course, has had plenty of A-League experience in his younger years. And has had a number of spells here too at the Bentleigh Greens, and has found a home here in 2024, I should say. And the Burgers happy to play some patient football. If you've been following Victorian football for the last decade, you'd be well and truly accustomed to the style of play of the Heidelberg United coach. Very much a ball-playing system. And you could arguably say the opposite for his counterpart tonight, George Katsakis. Very much known as a direct footballing style when Katsakis was in charge of Heidelberg United. Had a very successful stint with the Burgers, did George Katsakis. It's a chance to work down the left-hand side as the rain eases off for the time being. 11 minutes played, and a good strong challenge coming in from the Burgers, and it will be a free kick for an earlier challenge. Now, I have talked up tonight as being a battle of the coaches, and the Anastasiadis versus Katsakis coaching rivalry couldn't be any closer heading into tonight's clash. The two have coached against each other on 28 occasions, each winning 11 games with 6 draws between them. It doesn't get any closer than that in a coaching capacity. So one of these two gentlemen will get a more favourable record against his counterpart this evening. The tie's really set up for the ultimate contest. You've got the perfect recipe for cup football this evening. It may come as no surprise to both clubs have tasted the ultimate Doherty Cup success and gone on that magical National Cup run in the Australia Cup and the former FFA Cup in years gone by. Their cup paths have always crossed paths too on many occasions in the FFA and Australia Cup, as we've seen early chance coming down for the Heidelberg, and it will be a free kick to the home side. You may remember about 6 years ago a very significant meeting between the two clubs when they met on two separate Doherty Cup finals. Heidelberg winning in a penalty shootout in 2017. Then 12 months later, the Greens getting their revenge 2-0 over the Burgers. So they've had plenty of battles, even amongst the NPL Victoria when the Greens were in the top flight for a number of years. And the Burgers again playing some patient football. Adrian Zara driving well, and a strong challenge from Cavallo. And a bit of space here for Nick Olsen to come central. Does well to ride the challenge of the Bentleigh Green centre-back. If you are new to watching Victorian football, both clubs have featured in a Victorian record 5 Australia Cup knockout rounds of 32 and beyond, along with Hume City. So some of the most successful clubs when it comes to cup football in Victoria on display this evening. That's why when the balls were drawn out and these two were matched up against each other, a lot of football fans across Victoria got very excited for this fixture. Also, can't forget too, back in 2018, the two sides met right here at Kingston Heath in the quarter-final of the Australia Cup, with Bentleigh advancing 1-0 over Heidelberg. So a lot of history, as you can tell, with these two sides, and irrespective of where they sit in what league at the moment and their form in the league, all that matters is what happens this evening here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. It's good to see a lot of ex-players from both clubs floating around the ground tonight, cheering on their previous teams. And a ball driven long, looking for Josh Pinn, and Andrew Withers quick off the mark, this time to clear his lines. Hagic. United very happy to keep the ball at the back. Ben Collins trying to find a searching ball. It's intercepted by Kieran Dover. And a chance for the Greens to get a rare attack. And again, another second option coming through. Adrian Zara being forced to defend on the late turn. And it's a good bit of play by the Greens. Ben Bowler getting involved nice and early, playing that number 10 role for the Greens. Got Lockhead on the right wing and the number 19. And a good opportunity here for the Burgers to drive into the box. And again, some good defending from Scott Hillier at the back for the Greens. And a nice intercept play coming through. The offside flag stays down. And that is the first goal of this round 7 Doherty Cup clash, and it goes to Josh Pinn of Heidelberg United. 17 minutes played, and the Burgers, they go up 1-0. And the famous horn of Heidelberg on the opposite side of the ground gets the P blown out of it in celebration. A real goal out of nothing for the away side. The Greens caught with an intercept ball and sliced in between the centre back.
In the 18th minute, Heidelberg 1, Greens 0.
And it is a great start for Johnny A's side. He would have been hoping to get an early goal to settle things down. Of course, there is a lot of pressure coming into a higher tiered side in these one-off cup games. A lot of expectations on the Burgers to do well in the Australia Cup and Doherty Cup. You can also get a potential slip-up if you're not focused for 90 minutes, but so far so good for Heidelberg United. And another chance for an instant reply, but it will be offside to the goal scorer. Josh Pinn not timing it as well this time. And it must be said, it was a great finish in the top left-hand side of the corner. Andrew Withers, nothing he could do about it. Just slipped it in at the right spot. Josh Pinn been in some good goal-scoring form in the NPL Victoria men's this year. Of course, no Kane Shepherd in the lineup tonight for the Burgers. He was ruled out late, named on the team sheet, but a late scratching. And Aidan Fedhagic will just try and settle things down and get some composure back into Heidelberg. And a long ball coming through for Josh Pinn. He's just got one. He's in a good position to get his side a second one. Fakes the attempted ball in, finds Nick Olsen short, who works it in well with Dom Falla. He'll get the follow-up ball, he'll send it wide. They'll deliver the ball and it's blocked on the cut. Comes back in again, tries to get a strike away, and it's a heavy touch. Unfortunately for Heidelberg, it will be a goal kick. "20 minutes played here at Kingston Heath. It is round 7 of Doherty Cup action. We've got plenty of other cup qualifiers coming up tomorrow night as well. We'll give you those details in a few minutes. As you see, Nick Olsen play a delicious ball through for Josh Pinn. We get the cut across to the back post, but nothing's doing there for Heidelberg. Another strike away for Leo Massis. Unfortunately on this occasion, can't do much with it. And this clash tonight is the first of 5 Football Victoria Doherty Cup qualifiers into the round of 32 of the Australia Cup. Tomorrow night at Hume City Stadium, we've got Hume City looking to qualify for their 6th Australia Cup round of 32 against Caroline Springs. We've also got South Melbourne hosting St Albans in an all NPL Victoria clash at Lakeside Stadium. And also Kingston City taking on FC Melbourne Serbia in what is a very much anticipated clash between two sides not from the top tier of Victorian football. So we are guaranteed to have one side not from our top flight in the round of 32. All those games tomorrow evening kick off at 7:30, so make sure if you can get out to them, support your team. And of course next Tuesday, our final Doherty Cup round 7 clash. It is a very enticing one. The Oakley Cannons playing Avondale FC. Now the leveller is, it's not at Jack Edwards, it's at the home of the Matildas. So that is a hell of a clash to get out to next Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. at Bundoora. Of course, all the games will be live streamed on this very platform, on the Football Victoria YouTube and Facebook pages. So if you can't make it out to the ground, you can't brave the cool attempts that we are getting at the moment, the number one place to be is right here on our social media platforms. And George Katsakis is going to receive a yellow card, as is one of the Heidelberg players. Looks like it was Leo Masses. Bit of words spoken between the former Heidelberg coach and a new Heidelberg player. Fair to say, no love lost from George Katsakis, even though he is coming up against a side that he coached multiple times over multiple years. No doubt he would love to get one up over his old club. As would Johnny Anastasiadis over the Greens, of course. The Bentleigh Greens had some very good years under Johnny A on this very pitch. Some very memorable nights in it, FFA Cup football, as the ball comes out to Kieran Dover. One man who did feature in those games under Johnny A when he was in charge of the Greens. Had some very famous nights, defeating the Wellington Phoenix on this ground, giving a good test to the Western Sydney Wanderers after they just won the AFC Cup. It's very different times here at Kingston Heath compared to those years, but that could all change after 90 minutes here this evening. They're one of those clubs, Bentleigh, that wherever you are around Australia, you've heard of Bentleigh Greens because of their successful cup runs over the years. Likewise with Heidelberg United, they've had some very memorable nights at the old Olympic Village, up against Melbourne City, up against Perth Glory and Kenny Athu. Got them a 1-0 win over an A-League side. Some big nights and big crowds too. They had 10,000 plus at a Melbourne City game. So they are definitely one club that do love playing on the big stage. All the lights, camera and all the action comes out in around a 32. We've already got 16 qualifiers. Half of those A-League clubs. The rest member federation clubs. And we'll give you a list of who has qualified so far for the round of 32 before the halftime break. As Adrian Zara works it in well with Dom Falla playing as that traditional defensive midfielder for the Burgers. And although the Greens are currently on the scoreboard, by no means are they out of it in terms of the way that they are playing. They're doing very well to hold off, fair to say, a more fancied opponent. There's Aiden Fetahagic. Clears the ball, gives me a chance to go through the already qualified member federation clubs, as I just said, alongside the Central Coast Mariners, Wellington Phoenix, the Victory, Sydney FC, Macarthur, Melbourne City, Western Sydney Wanderers, Adelaide United. They're going to be joined by Blacktown City out of the New South Wales MPL, Darwin Hearts FC from the Northern Territory League in Darwin, Apia Leichhardt from the New South Wales MPL, along with Rockdale Linden from the same league, as Northwest Sydney Spirit out of Gladesville, the Modbury Jets out of South Australia, the O'Connor Knights out of the ACT, and as recent as yesterday, the Tasmanian qualifiers, the Glenorchy Knights. So they are the teams qualified so far in the Australia Cup round of 32. One of these sides will be inked on that board as well. So far, looking favourable for the away side, Heidelberg United, to be joining that list of competitors. with a draw for the under 32 being held in a couple of weeks, Wednesday week, on the Australia Cup Facebook page at 7 p.m. Definitely an exciting night for those that have qualified, as we see a chance coming across. Lars gets on the end of it. It's not dealt with just yet. Kieran Dover finds it. It comes out to Jay Davies with a strike, and it's blocked. Dom Fowler, the smallest man in the park, gets enough purchase to clear the ball. The Greens working it quite well around the edge of their 18-yard box. Kieran Dover just showing some patience. And a cheap turnover for Heidelberg. A chance to go forward. Josh Pinn taken out by Scott Hillier. A decision must be made here by the referee. What happens? And it's a yellow card, and the Burgers fans and coaches on their feet calling for the red. Would have been a very tough call to produce the red card, given that there were other defenders around Scott Hillier. So there was no guarantee Josh Pinn was going to get into a goal scoring opportunity on the edge of the centre circle. You have seen him give a no, so you can't argue with the complaints of the Heidelberg fans, but a bit of luck there for the Bentleigh Greens captain, Scott Hillier. And Josh Pinn with a very solid knock to deal with the Heidelberg physio, and it gives a chance for both sides to just get a reset. 29 minutes played here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. A very chilly night here in Melbourne Southeast. Sitting on about 12 degrees at the moment. We had a little bit of rain post kickoff. Bit of rain during the first half action. And we see Josh Pinn remaining down on the turf. And I think with the momentum definitely swinging in favour of the away side, it's a good stoppage here for the Greens, just to get some advice from their coach, George Katsakis. Just a bit of a reset as well. Just take a quick minute or two to get a breath and evaluate how they move forward in the remaining 15 minutes of this first half. Crowd still trickling in even with 30 minutes played here on a Tuesday evening. The local juniors have finished up their training behind us. And Josh Pinn, the goal scorer for Heidelberg United, back on his feet. Looks to be attempting to shake off the strong challenge from the Bentleigh Greens captain. If you have just joined our live stream, welcome. You're about 10 minutes late for the first goal this evening from the man on your screen. Just received some attention. The number 17 for Heidelberg, Josh Pinn, with a tidy little finish at his near post. The Greens goalkeeper, Andrew Withers, could do anything but watch as the ball sailed in to the net. As a chance to go forward here, and it will be offside for the Greens, and it's left by their import striker. Last Anton Canada, definitely the focal point for the Greens tonight. As we see Nick Olsen getting it on his left foot, very much a left foot favoured player, slices the ball in. Dealt with well on this occasion from the Greens defence. Leo Mazis getting involved quite a bit in his first half for Heidelberg. Ben Collins at the back for Heidelberg. He'll come out wide to his captain in Adrian Zara, playing in a, fair to say, a more natural position for the attacking midfielder. course, Adrian Zara, very experienced when it comes to NPL Victoria. Having spent some time in the A-League as well. As the ball comes to this near side, looking for Nick Olsen. He's got Christian Cavallo in front of him. Now joined by Kieran Dover. And Olsen with a fleet of footwork, trying to get past Carvalho. It's the battle of the left footers on the right-hand side. As Dom Falla comes in, looking for Dion Nicolaides. And again, they use Nicolaides back in that left full-back position. Ferhagic. And the Burgers doing well just to maintain possession. Really starting to wear the Bentleigh Greens down. That continual defensive mindset. Some good play by Sheriff Mohammed Adara. He's been all over the park in the opening 34 minutes. Yaron Souza happy to keep things simple at the back. Dominic Falla dropping in deep to receive that ball. And Feta Hagic just turns that over. And with a Johnny A coach, Heidelberg, it's not surprising to see his side just trying to wear down the opposition by making him just defend and try and win the possession back, and they do so very well with a good early ball here. But Candida, he goes to ground, but the referee says a little bit too easy in his opinion, and it's a chance to break early for Heidelberg. And a wrong option through the middle from Ben Collins. Kieran Dover gets inside the box. Adrian Zara gets the point on this occasion between these two. They've been battling it all night. A slip from Adrian Zara. Said I've had a bit of rain in Melbourne southeast in the last 24 hours, so the pitch just a little damper than it would be usually. Still in good condition to play football, as it usually is. And Heidelberg in no rush to resume play with just under 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Souza finds Ferhagic, finds Nicolaides. He drives the ball. It was a good option, and the right option too, from the Heidelberg left back. And a good intercept play here by Dom Falla, and it is 4-on-3. And he takes the wrong option, Dom Falla. He had the right-hand side to play with and went to the left. He'd love to have that time over again. As a strong challenge comes out, nothing given by our referee this evening, and it would be a throw into the home side. Right in front of their bench, as you can see, a very animated George Sarkis, as you come to expect. The Bentleigh Greens coach, already sitting on a yellow card this evening, coming up against his former side that he took charge of for over 380 occasions. And it's a good ball through again for Josh Pinn. He scored one, and he has scored two in the 36th minute. Josh Pinn, the ball on a dime, and he's putting his side 2-0 up on the scoreboard. Shouts of offside from the Bentleigh Green defence, but he has time to run perfectly and puts his side up 2-0. It is going to be a good advantage going into the halftime break for the away side, Heidelberg United. They have got 1 foot into the round of 32 of the Australia Cup. And the fourth official just having a word to George Katsakis. Can only imagine what would be coming from his bench. As I just said moments ago, sitting on a yellow card. And the heavy knock Josh Pinn received about 7 minutes ago has done nothing to dampen his goal scoring spirits tonight. And you couldn't blame Heidelberg if he pulled up, saw in the second half to give him a break. He's definitely earned his spot in the starting 11 tonight for Johnny Anastasiadis' side. Ben Collins working in well for the Hagic under pressure. Just plays it short to Zara, who's now caught, forced to go back, and they turn it over cheaply. And Kieran Dover tries to put the ball in a good position here for Strickland. Jay Davies settling things down for his greens. And the Greens still remaining patient as we approach the halftime break, as the ball's delivered in. That's a good one. It's dealt with so far, and it comes into Jay Davies. He takes a heavy touch on the edge of the 18-yard. And a strong challenge falling right in the path of the Heidelberg United striker, Leo Mazis, has his arms in the air. Yukikawa as well. Bit a bit quiet so far, Yukikawa. That's a strong challenge right in front of the Bentleigh Greens bench, and it gives Heidelberg a late chance to add further damage to the scoreboard. There'll just be another stoppage as we see, I believe it is Josh Pinn going back to ground again. On the receiving end of a strong challenge, some would argue a last man challenge from the Bentleigh Greens captain Scott Hillier. Did receive a yellow card for it. If you're a Heidelberg fan, no doubt you were calling for the red card. Nonetheless, it was a yellow, and Josh Pinn did remain on the pitch. Did remain on the pitch to score a second goal this evening. And the way he's looking at, you'd be a little bit surprised to see him return second half, as he gets helped off by the Heidelberg physio across the back of the pitch. And actually it will be an early substitution for Heidelberg United before the half-time break. So Josh Pinn, as I said, you can't knock the guy. He scored 2 goals to get him 2-0 on the scoreboard, so he's done a job. We'll try and see who the replacement is. Haven't seen a board go up. He is replaced by Ryan Govan as the ball comes to the back post. Kept in by Collins. And a strong challenge in behind the tunnel. You probably missed it on the screen, but it was a very strong challenge. And my apologies, it wasn't Ryan Govan. Sean Ellis did come on. It was Nick Olsen having some treatment on the sideline and came on as Josh Pinn was taken off. So apologies for that. Sean Ellis has come on, and we've seen him come into the right wing position. Nick Olsen move more central into the number 9 role. Of course, no Kane Shepherd this evening for Heidelberg. Ruled out late prior to kickoff, as we see Nick Olsen again trying to force the pressure on Andrew Withers, and he does so successfully. And Josh Pinn receiving a deserved applause from the Heidelberg faithful behind the away bench as he takes a seat for the evening. And Kieran Dover, he drives down this near side in front of the clubhouse. Strickland. And Dover does well to turn Sean Ellis, warming his way into the game on a chilly Tuesday evening. And the Leo Mazis gets a chance to drive forward. A challenge from behind. That's a striker's challenge if you've ever seen one. From the Bentleigh Greens import. Lars Anton Cannonser getting some early chances in the first 10 minutes. It's been pretty quiet since. In all fairness, the striker hasn't really received too much service. It's now resulted in a bit of a change of playing system for the Greens after that second goal. You can see Strickland sitting a lot higher up the park. And Mazis driving central. He'll get a strike away. And a safe pair of hands there from Andrew Withers. He's had much tougher to deal with this evening as the ball comes through a long driving switch. Looking for Dover, and he'll do well to keep it in. And unfortunately, he can't get it. The fortunate thing for the Greens is it's going to be a throw-in very deep in Heidelberg territory. Now in stoppage time. And Zara forced to just go long, searching for Olsen. And he's done very well to ride the challenges of 3 defenders, Nick Olsen. He drives it across and he's taken the wrong option. Looking for the Japanese import. Strickland finds Dover. Got Canada in front of him. He ignores that option. And keeps riding a challenge of Sean Ellis. And Fedhagic drives it out wide. And Heidelberg happy just to keep things until the half-time whistle. Nick Olsen with some space to move in the centre of the park. Sean Ellis probably didn't expect to come on this early in this cup fixture. And the ball's played in behind, looking for Mazis. He'll get an early ball across, and it's ignored by Yukawa. I'm not sure he got a call from any teammates there, but he could have got a touch on that. As there's a last attempt to get something out of this first half from the Greens. It's to no avail on this occasion. And as we trickle down to the half-time break. Just things really starting to slow down here in terms of possession from Heidelberg, and that will be half-time of this round 7 Doherty Cup clash. It is the Australia Cup qualification pathway. The winner of tonight's game will go into the round of 32 of the Australia Cup, and so far, with 1 foot in the door to the round of 32, Heidelberg United lead 2-0 over the home side, Bentleigh Greens. My name is Bryce Ruth, and we'll be joining you in about 15 minutes for the second half action here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Well, it is the clash that a couple of weeks ago got football Victorian fans very excited when the balls are plucked out at Football HQ here in Melbourne. The Bentleigh Greens and Heidelberg United resuming rivalries after not competing in the same league for the first time in, well, feels like a very long time. It's Bryce Ruthven taking you through this round 7 Doherty Cup tie, the qualification game, the final one into the round of 32 national stage of the Australia Cup. And if you have just joined us over the halftime break, first off, welcome to Kingston Heath. A very chilly evening here this evening, and also welcome to a 2-0 scoreline in favour of the away side, Heidelberg United, courtesy of 2 goals to Josh Pinn, who has since left the pitch with an injury and a very strong challenge. It could have potentially been a straight red card, but the Bentleigh Greens captain, Scott Hillier, avoided that and ended up with a yellow ticket instead. And you can see the Greens in the centre of the park. They're in their huddle. They need to get something out of this game. They need to get something out of it pretty quick if they want to be in contention for the final cup draw, round of 32, in a number of weeks. If you are joining us on our social media platforms, on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel, make sure your comments coming through. Let us know what you think of the game so far, if you have been watching from the very first kickoff. Or if you are just joining us now, strap yourself in, because anything can happen in a cup tie. And these two have a very extensive and rich history when it comes to rivalries. And we will see a substitution here for Bentleigh Greens over the half-time break. Coming on, it will be number 27, Josh Miller. And we'll work out who he is replaced. He's coming in the centre back. And as all the supporters resume their spot around the heath, our referee gets things ready for the final 45 minutes of this round 7 qualification tie into the Australia Cup. All to play for here for the Greens, chasing a 2-0 deficit. The more fancied and higher leagued opponents in Heidelberg having a stranglehold on the last 20 minutes of that first half, and we see an early chance here for the Greens with Strickland. Looking to bring in Canada. Not on the same page on this occasion, and an early ball delivered down this left wing to Leo Mazis. He takes a good touch inside, delivers. Palmed off by Andrew Withers, and it will result in a corner with 30 seconds played, so an instant impact from Heidelberg to kick off this second half. And plenty of excitement around this cup tie in the lead up to tonight. A lot of it to do around the respective coaches of both teams. Very much champions of their opposition clubs that they face tonight, as new coaches of one another's former clubs, as we see Jay Davies looking for an early ball for Kieran Dover, who's playing a bit more central to start the second half. A good bit of press from the Greens just to force things back to the Heidelberg goalkeeper in Yaron Souza. Not really required too much in the first half. It's fair to say the Heidelberg goalkeeper was called once upon the opening 10 minutes and did very well to keep things calm for the Burgers. And Nick Elson resuming his spot on that right wing, getting a strike away. The bounce troubling a little bit of Andrew Withers, and he, for some reason, decides to leave it, and it's resulted in a corner for Heidelberg. Maybe he wasn't aware of the deflection. It was right under our referee's eyes. It'll be Yokokawa to deliver this set piece for the Burgers. An early run out there from Sheriff Muhammad Adara. Falls to the feet of Ellis. There's a replacement for the goal scorer, Josh Pinn, and he enters the box. He's going to try and find his left foot. Nick Olsen does well to get a shot away and result in another corner. And the immediate pressure applied on the home side. A third goal would really make it tough for the Greens to get anything out of this fixture. Ellis delivers, goes into the near post. Swung in late. And all the Greens could do was just clear it out for another corner. It'll be Ellis again. Swings to the back post this time, and comfortable save in the end for Andrew Withers. A chance to drive forward. It will be a professional foul, and again another professional foul by Ben Collins, the Heidelberg centre back. And the substitute not quite into the play yet for the Greens, Josh Miller. Comes back to Miller. Working in well with Drutzis. Played in the Lockhead. A man that's been involved in a lot of Scottish Cup football. Comes to Lockhead again. He's got a wicked left foot in him. And nothing doing there for the Green striker, Lars Canninger. Trying to get something out of this one. He had a few chances in the first half. Nothing too troubling for Yaron Souza's goal. Souza does well to find Yukikawa, a free man in the middle of the park. And an early turnover here and a chance to drive forward for Strickland. He's got some space to work with. Ball sent out wide to Dover. Dover delivers. Comes to Strickland again. He gets a strike away. It's blocked by Dominic Falla. And a chance to drive forward here for Leo Mazis. He's going to do so at pace and does very well to get past Miller, but on the second attempt, Miller does well. Good challenge from Drutzis right in front of our commentary position. And Strickland, a good ball out wide to find Kieran Dover. Takes a good first touch, enters the box, tries to get a strike away, and a deflection off Adrian Zara as he takes his final touch. Another one, and not a bad attempt this time from the Greens, showing a sign of fight left in them. Sailed over the crossbar, but only by a matter of inches. It was Ben Bowler making the most of a bit of space in the midfield there for the Greens. And some good pressing there from Scott Lockhead. Comes back to Miller. He's stuck and they deliver early. It could be a good ball in the end here. But Hagic only can find Drutzis. Lockhead gets the tricky feet going and finds some space here for Lockhead again. Strickland, Lockhead working well together. And a good press here from the Greens and some strong work there from Drutzis and some real signs of positivity here for the Greens in the opening 7 minutes. Faced a couple of corners early on, but the corners didn't really deliver anything for the Burgers apart from some inspiration to drive forward for the Greens. And Drutzis does well again. Said a good start to this second half. Usually more of an attacking-minded player. And the George Katsakis playing a bit more defensive in 2024. It's the ball sent long. Dealt with by Hillier. Adrian Zara's forced to go back to his goalkeeper. He's going to get time to take one touch and deliver, and does well. And a nice silky touch from Dion Nicolaides. He's caught out of position though, Nicolaides, and a chance to drive forward for Strickland. And it should be a free kick, and it's not given, even though there were hands all over Strickland. A late challenge coming through, and that's sure to upset the Greens players. And the ball was booted away from one of the Greens players, and the referee did just issue moments ago a yellow card to a Heidelberg player for the same thing. I think that's what all the Heidelberg players are questioning the referee over. The consistency with issuing some yellow cards. The ball sent long. Sean Ellis does well to keep it in. Dinks the ball in, looking for Madzis. And not dealt with yet from Withers. Good enough though. Drutas comes into assist. Strickland, nice and deep. Finding the space, and the Greens do well to maintain possession, and a good ball here for Jay Davies to work with. One man with plenty of experience in NPL Victoria football. And Davies turns the ball over cheaply. Searching ball up the line for Nicolaides, deemed offside by our assistant referee in front of Johnny Anastasiadis' bench. A quick play, Scott Lockhead finds the ball centrally. And Christian Carvalho in a higher position than normal. Couldn't deal with it, and a good touch there from Leo Mazis. And no free kick given again. The referee definitely happy to let a few of the challenges go. To be fair to it, our whistleblower, he's been consistent with both teams. And some space to work with here. Lockhead with a searching ball out for Kieran Dover. If he can take a good first touch, he can get a strike away here. He's claiming to be held. Another challenge again. The referee waves it away. Ben Collins working with his centre-back partner in Fedhagic. Olsen working well with Adara. And he's been very lively tonight, Nick Olsen. Player that made the move down south over the summer after plying his trade in the NPL New South Wales. He's definitely found his feet in Victorian football. Ellis going to find a third goal, and a good save down to his right from Andrew Withers. All he could do was palm that away to prevent a goal. And they're still in at the Greens 2-0. Very dangerous scoreline in football. The Greens will definitely want to get the next goal to remain involved in this clash. 3-0, and you could almost call game, set, match for Heidelberg. And book their ball in the pot for the round of 32 draw in a couple of weeks. As the ball comes in, and it is that third goal. And it's the centre-back, number 3, Ben Collins, who puts the Heidelberg side up 3-0 and essentially books a spot in the round of 32 for the Burgers. A dominant performance from Johnny A's side, and they'll be excited with what's to come, given the form they've shown tonight. And the Burgers faithful behind the away bench, giving their boys a deserved applause. They've applied a lot of pressure with at least 5 corners in this opening 10 minutes. Or opening 14 minutes of this second half, you should say. And the third goal will bring a couple of changes here for the Bentleigh Greens.
Score for Heidelberg in the 58th minute, Benjamin Collins.
And one of the substitutes will be the Bentleigh Greens captain, Scott Hillier. And also Jay Davies in the centre of the park. So some fresh legs on for the Greens to try and salvage something out of this. It'll be Javaro Nepoxino in number 92 coming onto this right wing. And a long searching ball from Heidelberg, just dealt with by Andrew Withers. A lot of space in the middle of the park here for Odara. And he uses it well. Plays the patience game. And again, links him well with Sean Ellis. Goes searching wide, and it'll be a strike here from Mazes. Couldn't quite connect as well as he may have liked to challenge Andrew Withers. And nowhere to go for Ben Bowler, playing a defensive midfield role now for the Greens. And Dom Falla doing well to find Yakawa, plays the ball across. And Nick Olsen makes it 4 for Heidelberg United. 61 minutes played at Kingston Heath, and they are well and truly on their way now into the pot for the round of 32 Australia Cup draw, and also a semi-final berth in the Doherty Cup. You can see the deflated heads of the Greens just go down. They know their fate has been sealed. Still with half an hour to play. It's now about pride on the line for the Greens on their home deck. And it was always going to be a tough task for the home side in Bentleigh Greens, but it wasn't the impossible task, and it's just slowly creeping away as the game fades on. And Scott Lockhead still trying to inject himself into the game. And it will be a yellow card for Ben Bowler in number 18 jersey for the Greens. Presuming for a dangerous action with the high foot.
in the 60th minute. Heidelberg, number 21.
Ball goes long from Collins. Sean Ellis slotting a ball in for Adrian Zara and claimed well by Andrew Withers. No doubt the Heidelberg centre-back, Ben Collins, will be happy with his shift. Scorer of the third goal. You have just joined us, you missed 2 goals in the first half. Josh Pinn, a late first half substitute after being on the receiving end of a heavy challenge from Scott Hillier. Scored the opening 2 goals of this fixture. And Souza goes long. Nick Olsen. A nice touch that couldn't be dealt with by Adrian Zara. And he's been very lively tonight, Nick Olsen. The 4th goal, a deserving reward. Free kick pulled up against Tom Strickland. And the ball cheaply turned over, but a heavy touch from Mazis. Lockhead trying to work in again with his attacking midfield. And stuck with no option apart from to try and force it in. And the deflection from Dom Fowler takes a sting out of any potential opportunity for the Greens. Ball goes long from Ellis, looking to find Olsen. And he's done very well there to get something out of that situation. It'll be a corner. And also another substitution for the Burgers. And it will be Asahi Yokokawa getting an early mark and the applause from the Burgers faithful. And it will see the introduction of Ewan Ashton for the remaining 25 minutes of this game. And a free header at the back post for Fedhagic, comfortably dealt with by the Greens. And Withers goes long. No, good touch there from Mazis, unchallenged. Dom Fowler working with Mazis. Dara does well to ride the challenges. Strickland riding some himself. Keeps possession. And turned over. Drutsis getting stuck into some challenges now. And the Greens still persisting with getting something out of this game, at least in terms of something on the scoreboard. Ball comes across. Cavallo, very hard for him to deal with that one. And Lockhead trying to find a space. Dweller trying to get involved. Nick Olsen again looking to go forward. He enters the 18-yard box and he gets a strike away. And Nick Olsen with his second of the evening. It's 5-0 to the Burgers. 69 minutes played at Kingston Heath, and it is cruise control for the men in yellow. So much so that the P in the Heidelberg whistle is almost blown out. Sounds like it's on its last legs, but they may have more goals to cheer for going forward. Still 22 minutes remaining in this round 7 Doherty Cup action. And the change of pace from Nick Olsen definitely causing havoc now for the Greens at the back. A very tired back line, finding the space in behind Cavallo. The ball goes searching. And again, Nick Olsen, fleet-footed. Looks to find Leo Mazis. He'd definitely be keen to get his name on the scoreboard as well.
Score of the fifth goal in the 69th minute, Nicholas Olsen.
It is a chance for the Heidelberg faithful to applaud a man with a brace. Nick Olsen gets an early mark, as does the keeper, Yaron Souza. Gets an early mark. As so does Adara too. So all the substitutions made, all the cards played from Johnny Anastasiadis, giving his bench a run tonight. And Dom Falla getting inside the box, trying to find Sean Ellis. He does so. And a second strike and a great save down to his left, but followed up by the substitute, and it is 6-0 to Heidelberg United. The faithful erupt, and they know that they are into the round of 32 well and truly now. Nothing the Bentleigh Greens could do about that one. The sheer silkiness of the Burgers tore them apart. And it's a very quiet Kingston Heath soccer complex, apart from the pocket behind the away bench on the far side. They're in it tonight for the long haul, but the Greens, they'll be disappointed with this showing tonight. The rivalry has been there for years amongst these two clubs. although competing in separate tiers of Victorian football now, they would have fancied getting something out of this, being a cup tie. "17 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in this round 7 Doherty Cup fixture. It's the qualification game into the round of 32 of the Australia Cup. Chris Drutzis looking for an option. He does well. The substitute. And Strickland takes this one out over the sideline. Not happy with the attention he's received. In all fairness, nothing dangerous from the Burgers in that. And Strickland does well again to ride the challenge. He's receiving plenty of close attention. Ellis trying to whip this ball back in. It's dealt with the best it can. A little throw in.
Scorer of goal number 6 for Heidelberg in the 69th minute was Leo Matzes.
And you can probably ignore the microphone behind me, as that goal scorer was actually incorrect. It was a substitute. Nonetheless, the score is still the same. Good ball played in, but it's deemed offside from Ewan Ashton. Just a bit quick off the mark on this occasion. Andrew Withers goes long, searching for a green top. And the Greens swing well just to maintain possession, and as I say that, they turn it over very cheaply. That's just this relentless pressure from Heidelberg in this second half that's really opened up this game for them. Ball comes in. Down Nicolaides, playing a bit higher up the park. Finds Mazis. Wide again for Theodoropoulos. That's a bit of a case here of the Burgers really toying with the Greens at the moment. Plenty of possession falling in favour of Heidelberg. A sliding challenge to retain the ball comes in from Strickland. And again, just another 50-50 challenge falling in favour of the away side. The Greens searching for any little percentage win that they can get now. The strike comes across, dealt with by Withers only as far as the feet of Drutzis. He gets rid of it out of the 18-yard box. Federhagic. Ben Collins too going for a searching ball, but nothing really doing. Not a bad result though, as it's going to be a deep throw. And a chance for a breather. Chris Drutzis remaining on the turf for the Greens. And as Chris Drutzis receives some attention from the Bentleigh Greens physio, just a reminder that there is plenty more Doherty Cup Round 7 action coming your way. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night we have 3 games to determine 3 more qualifiers for the Australia Cup Victorian representatives in the round of 32. Tomorrow night up at Hume City Stadium in Melbourne's north. We've got Hume City taking on Caroline Springs. Hume City looking to qualify for their 6th round of 32 qualification phase in the Australia Cup. South Melbourne, they host St Albans Saints at 7:30 at Lakeside Stadium. South Melbourne will probably go into that one as heavy favourites, and Kingston City will be taking on FC Melbourne Serbia in a very hotly contested cup tie. If you ask the neutrals, no one can pick a winner. So that all takes place 7:30 tomorrow evening at the Grange Reserve in Clayton. So if you want to get out and see some live Australia Cup qualification football, make sure you get out to Hume City Stadium or Lakeside Stadium or even the Grange Reserve tomorrow evening, or join us here on the Football Victoria YouTube live stream. And of course, next Tuesday night, how can we forget, the Oakley Cannons take on Avondale FC for the last remaining place for a Victorian team in a round of 32. That one being held at the home of the Matildas next Tuesday evening with an 8 p.m. kickoff. That is going to be a must-watch clash for any Football Victorian fan next Tuesday evening. Strickland. Ewan Ashton. Dominic Fadler getting involved now as well. And the space really starting to open up now for the Bergs, just to knock the ball around as they please. It becomes hard for a side when you're chasing 6 goals on the scoreboard and you're looking at 10 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. The intensity of this one well and truly gone as the Greens keep trying to push to get something out of this game. At least the mark on the scoreboard. Searching again. A strong challenge from both parties there. And Sean Ellis plays this one forward, and it's a chance to drive for the Heidelberg substitute and Ben Devine. The ball comes wide to Nicolaides. Finds Mazis. Falla. Working with Ewan Ashton. Mazis gets in, drives it. Still not over yet. No danger evaded yet for Heidelberg, but the referee will assist with a free kick. Andrew Withers really just trying to soak up as many seconds as he can. Ends up being a good result with a good ball from the goalkeeper. And a nice strike there from the substitute, but safely collected by the backup goalkeeper for Heidelberg. Ryan Govan coming on to replace Yaron Souza to get some minutes. Clearing challenge there from Ben Collins. The centre-back getting his name on the score sheet as the scorer of the third goal this evening. Collins will be very happy with his shift tonight, as will his centre-back partner in Feta Hagic. Dealt with the trouble that the Greens possessed in the first half. And again, the Greens just running short of ideas now. The motivation does become a little bit harder when you're chasing 6 on the scoreboard. A chance to enter the box here. Ben Bell does his best, and they do maintain possession, the Greens. But again, turned over. As I mentioned, a lot of former players from both clubs floating around Kingston Heath tonight watching this cup tie between two of Football Victoria's most well-known and respected coaches. Two of Johnny A's Bentleigh team from the years where they made some very successful cup runs in the Australia Cup in attendance. Ryan Scott, of course, now the Newcastle Jets as their goalkeeper. Tyson Holmes stepping away from top flight football. Some keen spectators here. This ball comes searching in. And the Greens happy just to keep possession and try and drive forward and get something out of this, and it's dealt with defensively by Leo Mazis. He's done well tonight. He's pulled a fair shift. Leo Mazis hasn't found his name on the scoreboard as of yet, but has definitely pulled his fair share of the weight defensively, breaking down many transitions going forward for the Greens. So as I mentioned earlier in the call, a lot of member federation clubs across Australia now starting to lock in their place in the round of 32 cup draw that will be held in a couple of weeks' time on the Australia Cup Facebook page. Wednesday week, I believe that's taking place at 7 o'clock. So along with the fellow A-League sides, the Mariners, the Wellington Phoenix, the Victory, Sydney FC, Macarthur, Melbourne City, the Western Sydney Wanderers, Adelaide United, they'll be joined by MPL New South Wales sides Blacktown City, Apia Leichhardt, Rockdale Linden, and North West Sydney Spirit. Darwin Hearts FC, they'll make their first appearance in the round of 32 from the Northern Territory. The Modbury Jets of South Australia, they took out South Australian version of the Doherty Cup over the weekend. The O'Connor Knights from the ACT of Canberra. They also will take their first steps into the national stage of Australian Cup football. And the Glenorchy Knights out of Tasmania, they will also have their first taste of round of 32 Australia Cup football action in a matter of weeks. So a lot of excitement moving forward. Heidelberg United, they will join those mentioned clubs in the cup draw in the upcoming weeks. I know, speaking to a few of the players pre-game, they were all very excited about what can potentially come from a team standpoint, but also as individuals too, looking to progress into the A-League. The Australia Cup's become a real breeding ground for taking that next step in the Australia Cup. Almost creeping up to 90 minutes played here at Kingston Heath. And Dominic Fowler just keeping things under wraps for Heidelberg in the middle of the park. And Theodoropoulos goes down on a clear foul that will be played on. Some good refereeing there from our main official. And a good strike from Sean Ellis, winding back the years straight to the mitts of Andrew Withers. I think the far grandstand would have erupted if Sean Ellis found the back of the net with that attempt. Chris Strutzis being forced to go for a searching ball. Not really many other options for the right back. And there will be no added time in this fixture, and that is full time. Round 7 action of the Doherty Cup falls in favour of Heidelberg United. 6 goals to zip over the Bentleigh Greens, and Heidelberg United locking their place in the round of 32 of Australia Cup action, live from Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. My name is Bryce Ruthven. It's been a pleasure taking you through all the action here this evening, and make sure you tune in to the NPL Victoria and Football Victoria YouTube channels and Facebook pages tomorrow evening. 3 big clashes to come, and again one next Tuesday evening as well between Avondale and the Oakley Cannons. Pleasure having you on board tonight. Hope you're keeping warm wherever you are, and make sure you join us tomorrow evening for more Australia Cup qualification action here on the Football Victoria YouTube channel.